All right, folks, welcome on into another edition of the High School Huddle, your one-stop shop for everything and all things Section 5 sports. I'm AJ Feldman with a few of my very special friends. We got a full house today for the show, our basketball sectional preview draft show. We did this last year to rave success. Karen and Gerard Iglesia joining this year from Primetime 585, and we even got Thad Brown to show up to work today to MC the draft here.
Show up to work today. That's inside baseball. We'll leave that alone, but you're not wrong.
So we're going to have a good time here. We're going to preview the boys and the girls basketball tournaments in this draft. It's an off day for basketball, so we get a little bit of a break. Quarterfinals are going to pick up tomorrow. So the way we're going to do this draft this year, everybody's going to pick 4 teams. We're going to have 4 different categories, if you will. You're going to pick a 1 seed. You're going to pick kind of a mid-ranked team, a 2nd through a 4th ranked team, a wild card, or a sleeper, an underdog team, 5th or higher in the sectional rankings, and then you get a wild card, which you can use on another 1 seed, or of course you can take on a 2, 3, 4, whatever you want to do. You get 4 points for if your team gets home a brick, 2 points if you win your semifinal game, you make it to the championship game, you finish runner-up, and you get a point for making it to semifinal weekend.
And if there's a tiebreaker is going to be number 1. Was it the regional? What do you do after state champion or sectional
We're
championship?
going to do the most bricks, and then the most second place finishes, and then if that's all the same, we're going to go to the regional round.
So there is a tiebreaker for this as well. With only 4 picks and 3 rounds of winners, I think a tie is quite likely, but we will see. So, all right.
Speak for yourself.
I'm
winning this run.
I have full confidence in all 4 of the experts sitting next to me to have equal abilities with this.
I'm the reigning champ.
Yeah, well, do you want to get some love here first? Do you need us to tell you how good you were last year or no?
I just did it.
Okay, good. All right, let's start the draft.
All I'm saying is I'm the only girl at the table. I got y'all. I'm just saying.
By the way, for everybody at home, Karen and Gerard have promised they will trash talk each other more than everybody else at the table without issue. All right, the draft order was drawn by the law firm of Feldman, Brown, and Jones earlier yesterday. And the first pick, this will be a snake draft, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 4, 3, 2, 1 for round number 2. First pick overall goes to Carl Jones, and again, you don't have to pick the 1 seed, you don't have to pick a 2 seed, you can pick any category you want. Who are you going first overall?
Putting on my Brandon Bean Bills general manager cap, I'm taking the Aquinas girls basketball team. I thought about it. There are some one seeds out here who are some dominant teams. I'm like, you know what? I think some of those will be there in the 2nd round. But I think this team right here, compared to the rest of the classification, I think the gap is there. I think them as a 6th seed in their classification, they beat Sutherland, who is the top seed in Class A. They beat them by 4. So I think that there's a team who is 5 and above that has a legit chance to win a sectional title. Give me the Little Irish. They're a team that's hung with some of the big dogs in Class A and
young
AA.
too.
They're young.
They're young.
So I'm like, hey, you know what? The lights might be a little brighter this time of year, but I have faith in those ladies. I've seen them go up against BK. They didn't back down. Give me the Little Irish with my number 1 overall pick.
So kind of a surprise there, right?
That's a big surprise. I mean, they got Jade. Jade Harvey. She's a 9th grader. She's averaging 12 points, per game. They got Lauren Missy Green, the 10th grader. She's averaging 17 points per game, and they got AJ Orr. So that's an interesting pick. I didn't see that coming.
And their leading scorers, Molly O'Toole. 19 points.
What's the game? So
I'm not going chalk here, all right? We're going for value around here, all right?
all right. I didn't see that coming.
Taking value with your first overall pick.
I did not see that coming. I respect it, but I didn't see it coming.
It's all fun and games till Aquinas girls go to the final.
It's actually a good pick.
So, all right, if you're watching the video, you'll notice that the moment Carl announced that pick, the 3 other people at this table started flipping through their papers, because I don't think anybody had Aquinas girls first overall. Number 2 overall pick, AJ Feldman. Who you got?
Yeah, I'm taking a little off guard because I had 2 teams right at the top, and I was going to pick the one that Carl didn't, so now I actually have to make a decision, so thanks, Carl. I'm going to go with Lions boys basketball. There's a lot of, dominant number 1 seeds, but I think the C1 bracket is a little bit down this year. Lions is really good. They have the experience from going deep in past playoff runs. They got the big man, the sophomore, J.J. Johnson in the middle. They got a lot of guards around them. They can play fast. They can use a good press. I saw them take down East Rochester in a very convincing win. They're the number 2 seed in that bracket. I like Lions boys basketball. They're a 1 seed.
I didn't see that coming either. They got Mikey Briggs. They got LeBret. Oh, man, that's a good pick.
That's a really good
That's a
pick.
good pick. I'm not going to go adjust.
3rd overall pick, Gerard Iglesia. Now, we've had a 6 seed go off the board and then a 1 seed. I think most of us think 1 seeds will go early. We're going to go with your first pick here.
I'm going to Class D boys of Voca Prattsburgh. They've been playing, they've played 14 games above their class. And they've hit 5 and 9, but some of those teams they lost to are really, really good. They're, a 2-time reigning state champion.
Yeah.
And they run. They're probably the best conditions team out there. They all run cross country or play soccer, and they just, they know how to win, and they're led by McCoy Putnam.
I see them once a year, and it's always at the sectional final, and they're always just getting up and down the court. And I wish they were a little closer to Rochester. We were able to catch them more often. Always a fun team to watch.
Avoca Prattsburgh is like drafting the Chiefs for your NFL teams for next year. I mean, this is like, if there's a team that you feel like is a lock to just roll through sectionals, because they always do, Avoca Prattsburgh would certainly be the team.
Last year we didn't even include Class D because it was just such a gimme at the top. And we haven't really seen them, and it would just be the Avoca Prattsburgh. You get an automatic 4 points. So but this year we included them, and they get a first-round pick.
All right, now with a snake draft, Karen's going to get 2 picks in a row here. So this draft, I don't think it's gone according to anybody's plan so far. You got to make
Carl
2 spots
messed
here.
Yeah, Carl threw us all off of
It's
that.
draft day. He took Vontae Mack first overall.
Carl's, he's hitting on 18 over here and screwing up the table for everybody else. Karen, what do you got for 2 picks?
All right, this is different. I'm going Class B1 with the Hornell boys.
Okay.
They got the Pico brothers, PJ, Marco, and Gennaro. I don't think much people could hang with them like that. World of Inquiry could probably hang. They're very athletic. But this is a team of soccer players that are playing basketball. They're athletes. And these 3 brothers are amazing. So my first pick is going to be Hornell Boys B1. So nobody's throwing anything at me?
No,
Okay.
I like it. They were on my short list of number 1
Okay.
seeds to pick. I was kind of hoping they'd snake their way back to me, but you snagged them up there.
All right, so people probably not understand. They're probably confused, like, why is Aquinas boy still out there? Why is Athena boy? Like, people are confused right now, like, what is going on? Hornell, Avoca Prattsburgh? They don't understand this is a game, and we try to beat each other.
And those teams, those classes, are classes where you're not as confident about the number 1 seed, especially, AAA boys and the higher boys classes this year are going to be a lot more where you could see a 2 or a 3 or 4 winning a championship.
Oh, absolutely. But I gotta go with the obvious.
Now remember, so you're done with 1 seeds. In fact, Carl might have played this well because he now has his pick of all the. Well, I guess we can take a wild card. We got wild cards, so you can go 1 seed again here if you want. But go ahead, Karen. What do you got 2? Second pick.
So I got a wild card, right? So I mean, I could go. Do I have to go to a 2 or 3?
You can do anywhere you want. Yep.
I gotta go with Athena boys.
All right.
Whoa.
I gotta go with Athena boys. I gotta go with the brothers, man. I gotta go with the Reeves brothers. I know the category. I know there's Hilton in there who pushed them. Ben Stedden had 27 that game. Kenan Daig was playing good, only lost 4 games. Webster Schrader, when you got Schrader, like they are like a sleeper team. You don't know what you're gonna get. Penfield's playing great. They have another big guy. Rodney Coy just won last night against Spencerport. Victor is Victor, right? They're always going to be Victor. I don't know if they could handle the athleticism of Athena. And Brighton got the big guy, Reggie, but I got to go with Athena for my next pick.
I love Athena. I think they'll win, but I'm not sure they're going to win.
I'm staking on it.
So last 4 picks were all 1 seeds. AJ took Lions boys out of the Class C1 with his first-round pick. Gerard went with, the pretty much the lock, the tap and putt here of Avoca Prattsburgh, Class D with his first pick. And then Karen's last 2 picks, both with top seeds, Class B1 boys, Hornell, and then Class AA boys with Athena. So Gerard is now up with his second-round pick. Gerard, you can take another 1 seed if you want. That would be your wild card. But at some point, you got to take either a 2, 3, or 4 seed, and then a dog at some point. So where are you going with your second-round pick here?
My second-round pick is also Hornell girls.
Okay.
Sorry, Carl.
Man, I had that on my list.
Okay, they got 3 players in the top 10 in scoring for their class, which is Class B. They got Jordan Dyron, she's a sophomore, 15.4. Lillian Hoyt, 12.6. And Peyton Bentley, 12.1.
But Maldonado quick, though.
But the engine to that team is Selena Maldonado.
Yeah, she tough.
She runs that fast break. She turns a 1-on-2 fast break into a 1-on-0 fast break.
Last night they had 13 threes. They're a shooting team. They had 13 threes last night.
Is
in the game.
college or high school?
High school. They can shoot it. They can shoot it. That's a good pick. I like it. And Maldonado, she's just so quick. I just don't know. I'm nervous about the athleticism, Gerard, but I see what you're saying.
Class B, Hornell is the number 1 seed. They had a 82-15 win last night to open up sectional play. This is a bracket with 16 teams, so everybody's got a first-round game. Some of the brackets have less, and the 1 seed would get a bye. Dansville's the 2 seed in that bracket, and at least by seeding would be the most dangerous challenger. Minders opened up with an 84-22 win over Waco, so another team that clearly can score the basketball if they need to.
And Minders got those Verke. They got the Verke sisters. I don't know if they can handle the athleticism though of Hornell. But Waterloo is a sleeper team in this category. They're asleep. Those girls can play.
All right, we're back around to AJ. I'm going to Carl or Gerard. I'm sorry.
No, I was just
Agreeing.
agreeing for one. Yeah, that's what I do as a husband.
All right, AJ's up with his second round pick. He took Lions boys as a number 1 seed in the first round. Again, you can go with another 1 seed or hit one of the lower seeded categories if you want.
All right, so I went Class C1 with my boys pick. I'm going to go back to Class C1 on the girls. I'm going to take Ananda as the number 1 seed with my wild card pick. Eva Jenny, she has been just shouldering the load down the stretch. She is scoring at a phenomenal pace. You know, they had some adversity in the middle of the season, but they've come through that. They're finding their groove. I like the bracket that they're in. You know, East Rochester's got some players, Lions, Bloomfield. It's a talented bracket, but I like the Gananda Blue Panthers here as my wild card pick.
That's a good pick. And they got those Dose sisters, D-O-H-S-E. They got the 2 sisters, and then they got the Cruz sisters also on that team. That's a good pick. That was, man, you not got to cross this off. That was on my list.
Playoff time, I want studs, Eva Jenny. I don't know if you get any much more stud in Class C.
Oh, by far.
At Class C1, Bloomfield is the number 2 seed there. Oakfield, Alabama is the 3. Everybody, again, played within the last couple days their first round match. Everybody got through. No upsets in the first round of that, unless you count Perry over Kendall, a 9 over an 8. So that bracket, of course, is so far going by chalk. And as AJ said, on Tuesday and Wednesday this week were the pre-quarters. So a lot of these teams have played 1 game already. But the real meat of sectionals begins Friday and Saturday with the quarterfinals. All right, we've reached the end of round number 2. This has been 6 consecutive 1 seeds who've been drafted after Carl opened up, shocker, the bombshell, going with Aquinas girls as 6 seed, right, in terms of your first overall pick.
6 seed, yeah.
So Carl's got 2 picks in a row. Now, as I incorrectly stated before, Carl's going to have, it's accurate now, Carl will have his pick of all the 1 seeds that are left because AJ, Gerard, and Karen can no longer draft the 1 seed. Those are all done except for Carl. You could go 2-4 if you want here because no one else can take a 1 seed. You have your pick of your 1 seeds the rest of the draft.
And that's exactly what I'm going to do for one of my picks. The first pick here, we're going to stick with the 1 seed train a little bit. Surprised they lasted this long. We're going with Avon. The Avon boys at B2, 19-1 record this year. Listen, we talk about star power. They got 3 players who could have been on our Section 5 best segment every week if I wanted to include them. I'm sorry that I didn't put y'all in. I mean, you got, I've got the names right here. Josh Harder, Michael Rowling, Trevor Schrodd. I believe Josh Harder was the one who
He has the Section 5 record.
Last year, that game where I think it was 11 or 12 threes or something in that regard. This team is really, really good. I've seen them play against different styles too. They've gone to the, I believe, Rochester Academy, played a team who can get up and down the court a little bit. They played in their league and done great things there as well. And speaking about soccer kids, listen, they got a bunch of kids on that team as well, so they can, obviously they're well conditioned. Really fun team to watch. I would not be surprised if we're at the BCA, and I believe next weekend, and they're raising a brick.
They got swag too.
Yeah.
They talk.
Yeah.
I like.
And you know me. Listen, if you're talking a little bit, like you're on my radar for sure.
That's a good team. They have a lot of swag and they're very confident in their shooting. So that's a really, really good pick.
And they've kind of got the Athena boys thing where they have their stars on their team,
yes,
but they have so many different players where if, you know, Josh Harder's having a bad night, they've got 3 or 4 other players who can step up there. So I didn't actually include them on my little one-sheet list, but that's a good pick there.
That's a good pick, yeah.
Class B2, the number 2 seed is Canisteo Greenwood. Number 3 is Marcus Whitman. I'm going to assume, especially with Canisteo, that's teams that we don't see a ton of. So I think for those of us up here in Rochester proper, you know, that's kind of a bit of a mystery number 2. You know, the rest of these teams, Avon, Attica Leroy, you know, even Marcus Whitman, Rochester Academy, those are teams in this bracket we see a decent amount. So, you know, Canisteo Greenwood may be a bit of a mystery when we get to the end of this bracket.
They are ranked 6th in the state, so.
Canisteo Greenwood?
Yeah.
So they'll be tough.
Carl, you got one more pick here. You're opening up round number 3.
Yeah, and this one is tricky because there's some classifications that I'm sure we're all kind of like avoiding or waiting for like one of us to touch it first before we go in as well.
Double-A girls.
That is one of them. I'm going to stay away from AA girls for right now. I'm going to actually go to AAA boys. And I'm going to go with the Fairport Red Raiders because this time of year, Asia and I always talk about this. You guys know, Gerard, you're a great coach in your own right, so you know this as well. What wins in postseason? I need my guards, right?
Yeah.
And I'm taking LaShard Lowry 10 times out of 10 if he's on the floor. He's a fantastic player.
Can't press him.
I mean, he gets. I've seen him, speaking of press, at the end of games where they need to get the ball out of Fairport's hands, he figures out a way to get the ball up the court. And obviously you have Aiden White down low who's put up 30 points several times this year as well. And then they also have other players who've been able to step up. Both of them fouled out in the Hilton game, I'll never forget. And they still won in overtime without their 2 best players. So the fact that they have the others, right, that Shaquille O'Neal's like to say, the others outside of the stars. Give me Fairport. It's not gonna. I'm not guaranteed. I'm not sure they're gonna win it because still got to take on Franklin next round, assuming that they get past their quarterfinal matchup, and then Aquinas on the other side. But give me the best guard I think here in Section 5 in LaShard Lowry.
Is there a scarier 7 seed to face if you're a 2 than McQuaid in round number 1? And look, I know McQuaid hasn't had the season we normally expect from them, but they've been in a lot of games. Took Victor to about a 5-point game the other day?
Yeah, they've been playing a lot of close games.
Yeah.
If you want to pick a team to like lose really, they're like, I don't know what the NFL.
If they had over/under.
They're covering the spread all year long. They're the Minnesota
Vikings.
men's basketball team, I think. They're covering a lot this year.
But what's frustrating with them is, it's like you don't know you show up. Like they'll lose to a team that they're not supposed to lose to, and they'll beat like a U prep team, and you're like, what is? I get the results. What? Like what is going on? But the Fairport thing, Scott Fitch is in his moment. He lives for big moments like this. One of the best coaches in Section 5. Give him anybody, he's gonna find a way to win. It's a scary person to go up against when you're coaching. Aiden White not only is a basketball player, but remember he was player of the year for volleyball. So when you have he's a competitor, and that's dangerous also on a team of competitors.
Gerard, speak to the point of the coaching experience, because Scott Fitch has obviously seen it all, done it all. You know, I mean, he was coaching basketball when he was a little kid because his dad was doing the same job. How much of a difference as a coach is it for you when you're in sectional game number 75 as opposed to sectional game 1, 2, 3, or 4?
Yeah, experience matters. And I mean, you're talking about a guy who coaches Team USA. I mean, he's way up there. Is it different? The difference between great coaches and good coaches, great coaches, they find the details, you know? And that guy is as detailed as it gets. So, and that comes with experience.
Class AAA, by the way, Fairport is the 2 seed that Carl said. Franklin will be the 3 seed, and that would be the chalk at least semifinal matchup for Fairport. The 1 seed there is Aquinas. They actually have a bye to the semifinals because AAA is a relatively new bracket, and there aren't a whole lot of teams in that bracket so far. All right, we're to pick number 2 of round 3. The last 3 picks have been Hornell girls, Gananda girls. I'm sorry, last 4 picks: Hornell girls, Gananda girls, and then Avon boys and Fairport boys. Only Fairport boys, the only team that's not a 1 seed there. As I pointed out, the next 6 picks in a row cannot be 1 seeds because AJ, Gerard, and Karen have used up all their 1 seed slots. So AJ, you got the next pick. Where are you going?
All right, I'm going to play a little strategy here. I'm going to go with girls AAA. I'm going to take Fairport as the 6th seed as my underdog.
You got
Man, you did your research, man.
That's why I won last week. So girls AAA, it is a down bracket. There's kind of no way to deny it. You know, some players left from graduation of those teams. It's a newer classification. Some players left. It's not going to be, you know, the prettiest bracket, but Fairport is playing some decent basketball down the stretch. Just in the last couple of weeks, they beat Mercy by 14. They only lost by 8 to Brighton, and they only lost by 7 to Schrader. I think they kind of came back down the stretch in that game, but still, those are some quality results. You look at their bracket, they've got Franklin in the quarterfinal round. They're going to be facing Edison in the second round if they get there. Both of those teams have some quality players. City Girls basketball is kind of having a little bit of a resurgence last year where they have some quality players. But I like Fairport to make it to that sectional championship game. And if they face a team from Greece or Rush Henry out of the 1 seed, I like their chances to win it all as my underdog Cinderella team.
And let me tell you, I might agree with you because they're 5-15, but by far they have the toughest schedule out of anybody in that bracket.
Yeah, I've seen them play, I think, Schrader in person, Canandaigua in person, and those are some really good teams, and they can hang with them.
Yeah.
So you put them in this AAA bracket, which, like I said, is down a little bit. I like their odds.
Yeah.
Rush Henrietta is the #1 seed at Class AAA. And again, as we kind of pointed out a little bit, this is a bracket, AAA, or a classification that's brand new. And it's been brand new, not just for basketball, across a lot of sports, soccer and volleyball in the fall, basketball here in the winter. And one of the points I want to make about it is with it being a new bracket, there's not a whole lot, like you guys said, a whole lot of depth. Rush Henrietta as the 1 seed is 9-9. So you're not looking at a team that's 18-1 or something ridiculous that you'd have to overcome to go all the way. The difference between the 1 seed and the 6 seed Fairport is 4 games this year. So it seems like a pretty smart pick to me. All right, Gerard, you're up with the 3rd pick of round 3. Go ahead.
I'm going to go with York boys.
Okay. I keep saying
Respect
okay
that.
every time.
Now they got,
I respect it.
yeah, what seed are they? They are the 4th seed, but again, they got Jake Pangrazio, averaged 22 points, a shooter with range. He had 42 points in his first game, and he had 46 against Bishop Kearney. They've beat some good teams. They've beat Kearney. They beat Leroy twice. They beat Wheatland Chili. No, they lost to Wheatland Chili. Close game. They split Avon. They've had a tough schedule, and those that will prepare them better than anybody else in their bracket.
York as the 4 seed is going to play Honeyway in the 4-5 quarterfinal game. That's on Friday. You got the date. No, today's 22nd. That's on Saturday at 4 o'clock. The 1 seed at Class C2 is Byron Bergen, with Alexander as the 2, Bolivar Richburg as the 3. Wheatland Chili has been dangerous as a team in this bracket over the years too. Not a team to be ignored, but York is the 4 seed is Gerard's pick.
Yeah, I do want to mention Joe Bauer. He's an athletic guard averaging 15.4, and also Tyler Brady.
All right, Karen, you got your last 2 picks now, both in a row here, but you can be the first one to conclude your draft. Right now you've got 2 1 seeds, Hornell boys and Athena boys. The last 2 picks were York boys, a 4 seed, Fairport girls, a 6 seed at AAA.
All right, so this is tough. This is tough. I gotta go there. I gotta go in the AA girls category.
Oh, here we doing. What we doing?
We're doing it.
Okay.
Take like 7 teams.
Like we're doing it. Anybody could win this. Literally, it's the only one that I think every single person, Victor, Hilton, Menden, Canandaigua, Schrader, and Kearney, all can win this. Like every single one. But I'm going for points right here now.
Yeah, okay.
My strategy is about points, right? So hear me out real quick. Victor, dangerous team. Ryland Fahrenbeck, 10th grader, I love it, all that. Victor have Devin Livingston, okay. Students. But basketball, I think that when it comes down to it, like I don't think they've faced like that fast-paced athletic team. I'm picking Kearney girls in this one.
Okay.
All right.
Asia Wilson.
Asia Wilson.
Not a player you can go wrong betting on.
No, I'm just going for points right now. I know Hilton could win it. Mallory Heiss, let's be honest. Schrader, Bria Watkins, let's be honest, right? Every single team, Canandaigua has, everybody could win this. The reason I'm going for Kearney girls is they've been here, experience, they're in the moment, and I think in sectional, guards win. And I think, especially at FLCC, big court, I'm going to give Asia Wilson, that's averaging about 20 points a game, 7 assists. I'm going to give that to her because I think guards win. Not because I think they're the better team. I just think guards win.
To talk about how ridiculous this class is. You guys have thrown out maybe 5-6 teams. All have legitimate chances to win it. And not one time has anyone mentioned Pittsford Menden, who's won 20 like the last 28 championships, whatever it is. Something ridiculous.
Penfield, too.
Yeah, exactly. Penfield's in this bracket, too. And so I bring up Menden, by the way, because they are Kearney's next opponent. That'll be a Friday night 6 o'clock game at Pittsford, of course, at Menden High School. And then should Kearney get past Menden, they would very likely get the winner of Hilton and Penfield. So there are a lot of years where you look at your bracket and you think, I got to beat Menden and then Penfield. It'd be next to impossible. This is obviously a different season. But Kearney is the team that's beaten those teams too. So,
right.
Yeah, this bracket is just ridiculous. So, Karen, you got
My final pick?
one more pick.
I'm going to shock the world.
Here we go.
Got to be a 2, 3, or 4. Just a
I
reminder.
know.
Yep.
Harley Allendale Columbia boys.
Yep.
I like that pick.
That's a great
see
pick.
it.
I
You
seen
see,
you. I
you
seen
see,
you.
that's
I
why
seen
don't
you
leave me
there.
hanging, Carl.
We
Don't
was
leave
there.
me-
We was there. We was there. I seen you there.
We were there together.
We was there together.
So okay, let me
You
see.
did shock me because I didn't think you'd make that good a pick.
And there it is, everybody.
Tyler,
Oh, can I have dinner today too?
Tyler Knapp, Harlan Novi Marks, Ryan Diardudo. You got to give these guys. We were at that game together, and Carl and I was like, yo, these kids can play. They can hoop. They can hoop. I'm going with for my last and final pick. I know they're only a 2 seed, but I'm going with HAC.
I seen them once, and actually only saw them about 8 minutes or so.
Yeah.
I saw them about 8
And you were
minutes a
impressed
quarter.
with that.
They got what you need.
Yeah,
they didn't
they,
have to stay for very long.
look, they got on the TV later that night, and
Yeah.
they made a lasting impression on how well they play basketball.
Yeah, they're good. That's my pick. That's my final round.
HAC is the number 2 seed at Class C3. They're going to get North Star Christian. Also, not an easy first-round game. If you're, especially, that's an unfair 2-7 matchup right there.
Yeah.
They play Saturday at 3 o'clock, and then should they win that game, Arkport Kennesaw, the winner of that, and Mount Morris would be their number 2 or their semifinal round game. Fillmore is the number 1 seed at Class C3. Gerard, you're up next. Your final pick. It has to be a 5 or above. So you got to find your live underdog. York was a 4 seed, so you got to go with something, a long shot, something that is a 5 seed or higher for your last pick.
And now y'all like, man, I see why Carl chose Aquinas for one overall.
I see the strategy now, Carl.
Wait. Oh no, I did too. Oh man.
They're waiting for you, man. You're taking too long here. Mr. Coach of the Year, come on.
He was thinking of all his zingers for Karen's picks. He didn't have time to look at his board.
Okay, a 5-6.
5 over.
Yeah.
You took. Is Wheatland still on the board?
They're still available. Yep.
I'll go with Wheatland Chada.
Ooh, that's a good pick. That's
They
a
got
good pick.
Leighton Williams. He's like a Rick Brunson kind of guard.
That's a good pick.
Braids and all, but he's a lefty. He's a strong kid. He can shoot inside. He can score inside. And then they got
Jaden Sherman.
Jaden Sherman Breton, real athletic
It's a
perimeter player.
Yeah.
They got 2 really, really good players.
Man, that's a good pick.
And they've beaten some quality teams, including
But my concern,
York.
though, Alexander pounded them by like 25 points. With Paul,
But they won't play them until the finals.
Well, they get them next round.
They get 'em next
Wheeland
round.
is a 6 seed in
6
Class
yeah.
C.
That's my
C2? C Class C2.
Are you standing on business with that one? Are you standing on business with that?
Carl messed me up.
My bad. Listen,
You already made the pick, bro. I mean,
Keep in mind, this is a 6 seed. Like, the way this draft works, if you get a first round win out of your 6 seed, then you're already ahead. That anything beyond a first round win is gravy. So from Gerard's point of view, if Wheatland can get past Bolivar on Saturday, then the pick has already been well worth it. The other thing too, Carl or Gerard, you have a chance here because you have York in this bracket too.
Oh, yeah.
With your third round pick. You could get a York Wheatland final, like it is
Yeah.
theoretically possible,
one and two.
and then exactly, then that would be. I would think that would make you a very tough team to beat if that
yeah.
happened.
Wheatland's a 6 seed.
Yeah,
yeah.
Alexander's a 2 seed.
yeah.
Yeah.
They don't play.
They'll play in the next round.
Next round.
Yeah.
Wheatland
The winner of
plays-
3-6 will be
They're
the
the
winner.
bottom
of
half
3-3.
of the bracket.
Yeah, well, at least make the semifinals.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good for points.
Possibly.
2 more picks to go. AJ, you got the second to last pick. Has to be a 2, 3, or a 4 seed.
I'm sweating over this pick. I got 3 really good teams that I like, and nobody else has. Well, I guess Carl's. Well, it doesn't matter. 'Cause
Carl
I'm
can
on
take
the
a wild
clock.
card. Yeah, Carl can take whatever he wants.
I'm looking at Hilton girls. I'm looking at Palmac girls, and I'm looking at Franklin boys. All really good teams. I could go with either one of them. I'm gonna go. This is really tough. I'm gonna go with the Franklin boys. I can go anywhere. They're playing such good basketball down the stretch. I think this is literally their last 4 games. They beat East, they beat Monroe, they beat Schrader, they beat Edison. That is about as good of 4 wins as you can basically get in Section 5 boys basketball. They got the Thompson twins, they got the big, they got the guard, they can run. They're putting up 80, 90 points in these games when they're playing these top line teams. I'm gonna go with the Franklin boys.
What scares me about them, and it's about matchups.
Yeah.
They would have to play possibly Fairport in the semis, and Fairport beat them handily. However, they didn't have Terrence Thompson that game. But is he worth 30 points in that game? I don't know.
He can be.
He can be.
He certainly changes things.
He
because,
changes
with a
everything.
player like that who can block so many.
30-point difference?
He's not
Yeah,
worth 30 points,
but he
just
could
the flow
prevent.
of, just the flow of the game. You get him in the middle, that makes everybody on your outside better. They can play more aggressively on the outside because you can get that secondary help, and now you're pushing the floor. It's going to be a really good semifinal game. Each one of those three teams, they can win it all. They can also get bounced in the semifinals because they've all got really tough matchups. Palmac against Aquinas, Hilton with Bishop Kearney. All those games are going to be really good in the semis. I'm still going to take the Franklin boys.
Franklin is the number 3 seeded Class AAA. They will get Edison Friday night at 5 o'clock in their next game. The winner could take on the winner of Fairport and McQuaid. That would put AJ and Carl head-to-head in a semifinal matchup because Carl took the Fairport boys. We got one more pick. Carl Jones, you open this with a stunner. Will you close it with a stunner? You can take anybody you want. You have a wild card open.
We're going back to the 1 seed. We're going to end it with the East Eagles and with the boys, excuse me, because I know the girls lost last night as we're recording this on the first.
Yeah, that'd be a bad pick.
That'd be a big surprise. Real big surprise, right? But I'm going to end it with this team. I don't know if they're as strong as they've been in the past with previous iterations of this East Eagles team, but I think I'm looking at the rest of Class A, and I don't know if I see a team that strikes fear. Maybe in the past, like I know when they matched up with Sutherland a few years back, I don't think Sutherland has a Jackson Green, or not Sutherland, excuse me. They didn't lose to Sutherland, but I don't think Sutherland is as strong as they were in that year, excuse me. And they will presumably face Monroe in the next round, which will be a very good game. Give me the team at home, which I believe that will be East. So give me the Eagles. I think that's a team that's well-rounded. I don't know if they have a star, quote-unquote.
I agree with that. Zamir's playing good. He has 18 points.
Yes.
I think his head is back into basketball. He's shooting the ball really well. He's playing well. Before he was, averaging 5 or 7 points. 18 points one game, 13 points the last another couple games. Micah Johnson, Kayshawn Leonard. They have a bunch of athletes. I agree with you. There's no star out there, but I think sometimes that can be good too.
Yeah. So kind of scared with it because the classification isn't strong, quote unquote, but they wouldn't face a Wayne or Sutherland until this final anyway, so I'm hoping I will get points regardless. But they will face Monroe next round, which would be scary.
And they played Bishop Kearney in the quarterfinals.
That's exactly what I was
not
gonna
an
say.
automatic win for them. We both saw them last night or 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
They got some talent.
And Kearney's beaten, they beat UPrep. They beat Aquinas. You don't
They
know
got
what you're gonna get
guards.
with them.
Listen, I was picked between
Carl's
you and them.
regretting his pick now.
No. I'm 10 toes. I'm standing on business. We rocking with the East Eagles. All right? I've been in the East 5 times over the past month. All right, I'm honorary Eagle. But it was either between Hilton, but the Class AA scares me, and then Palmac girls. They're a really strong team. They blew out East the girls a few weeks ago. But I got to rock with the little Irish girls, so I couldn't rock with them. So we're going to go with the East Eagles as my final pick of this draft.
All right, we got to wrap this up, but let's review the teams real quick. First of all, a couple stats. For your 5+ seeds, everybody took a 6 seed, so no one took a 5. There's no 5s in this bracket at all. 11 boys teams, 5 girls teams. Here are the final teams. Carl has gone with Avon boys, East boys, Fairport boys, and Aquinas girls. This is long shot. AJ's going Lions boys, Gananda girls, Franklin boys, Fairport girls as his long shot. Gerard went Avoca Prattsburg, lock. Hornell girls, York boys, Wheatland Chili boys as his long shot. Karen went Hornell boys, Athena boys, HAC boys, and BK girls as her long shot. Real quick, I'll go around the table. Hearing all those teams, who do you think had the best draft? Carl, you got about 30 seconds.
The team, the person who didn't pick one team from Monroe County. I mean, think about that. All the teams out there or whatever.
Gerard.
All the locks, and I think those teams have really strong chances to.
Gerard is the team that did not pick anybody from Monroe County. AJ, what do you think?
I think Gerard's got a good team as well. I do want to point out with the boys and girls discrepancy. I think that just goes to show how deep girls basketball this year in all of the classifications.
My reaction too, the way AA is this year, you took a whole bracket pretty much off the board because no one wants to touch it.
Yeah. So. I think we all got really good teams except for Carl. And no, it's going to be fun.
Gerard, what do you think?
I think Carl had the best draft because he messed all of us up.
I think that we left a team off the table. That's a scary team that I'm going to put it out there that we're all going to regret not acknowledging Rush Henrietta boys. I think that's a sleeper that could jam everything up in that class. That's just how I'm going to end mine.
And in that same vein, because Rush beat UPrep, UPrep beat Aquinas. So, I mean, it's about matchups.
I love the fact that Calvin Betts is the coach for that team.
Yes.
It's weird for me to cover a team that's coached by a kid that I also covered back in the day.
Or is it that mean that you're old?
Yeah, look, we didn't want to bring that up. Exactly.
I used to coach against Calvin's father, so I'm real. I'm just
We already knew you were
I was just joking.
All right, so that'll do it for the draft. That'll do it for this episode of the High School Huddle. We'll be back next week. It'll just be the two of us. We'll preview all these boys and girls basketball games. We'll recap everything, hockey, bowling. Do you want to say, like, bowling? How about these
Bowling
bowlers?
was lit. I don't care what nobody says. Bowling was lit.
Game.
I mean, they bowled 200-300 games in the same day. Like, that's
same
hard.
session.
The same session. That's crazy.
It's hard to describe how exciting that thing was because the parents are going crazy, the bowlers are going crazy, and this kid started off with 5 straight strikes, and I couldn't wait to see,
Him come back
every
around.
time him coming back around.
And real quick, just to remind everyone, we will keep track of the draft at RochesterFirst.com. We will have a continuous updates of some sort, so you'll be able to find out whose team is doing well, which drafter actually was as smart as they said they were.
So, for Thad Brown, for Carl Jones, for Karen and Gerard Iglesia, I'm AJ Feldman. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify. You can watch us on RochesterFirst.com and YouTube. It is now time to break the huddle, and this time we actually kind of like have a huddle. Yeah. Time to break the huddle. We'll see you next time.